the Tennessee Department of Education. As I mentioned in the reminder email, we will have some community-based partners with us today. Vivian Walker from Upper and Cumberland region, Roseanne Downing from West Tennessee region, and Brittany Young from West Tennessee, who is with the YHDP group. Again, thank you for joining me. And then last, we have Morgan Campy from the department, who will be talking briefly about 21st century and LEAPS. So at the Tennessee Department of Education, we ground our work in our strategic plan, Best for All. The plan focuses on 3 priorities: academics, student readiness, and educators for all Tennessee students. As you all know, the work you're doing with students in transition is strongly connected to all 3 of these areas. The support that you provide to educators, students, and families is crucial. So like I said, today we're going to talk about community-based organizations. We're going to look at 21st century CCLC and LEAPS, and we'll have questions and resources at the end. So let's go ahead and jump into community-based organizations. So the Homeless Emergency Assistance and Rapid Transition to Housing HARTH Act of 2009 was signed into law on May 20th, 2009. The HARTH Act amends and reauthorizes the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act to include, in consolidation with HUD's competitive grant programs, HARTH, which includes supportive housing programs, shelter plus care programs, and moderate rehabilitation single room occupancy CRO programs, and the creation of rural housing stability assistance programs. All this is in change to HUD's definition of homeless and the chronic homelessness. It's to help simplify the requirements and to increase the prevention and provide resources. We also want to they also wanted to increase the performance of providing these resources and support to these families. So HUD Continuum of Care, COC, is designed to promote community-wide involvement with the goal of ending homelessness. So providing funding for efforts by nonprofit providers and state and local governments to quickly rehouse homeless individuals and families, while also minimizing the trauma and dislocation caused to homeless individuals and families. So it's to also to promote access to and effectively utilize and mainstream programming by homeless individuals and families. It's also used to optimize self-sufficiency among individuals and families experiencing homelessness. So I was not able to get anyone from East Tennessee COC to join us, which is the Tennessee Valley Coalition for Homelessness. But there's the information, and these are some of the LEAs that they serve. And then we have the Upper Cumberland COC, which is Vivian Walker. Vivian, are you on the call? Vivian is with HART, the Homeless Advocacy of Rural Tennessee, and she was supposed to join us this morning. She has been doing.
The phone. I'm sorry, yes, it was muted. Okay. I apologize.
Okay, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Okay. I'm not sure exactly what you're wanting me to cover here. Or you want me to talk about the function of the COC or how this relates to school liaisons? Help me out here.
Sure. Yeah, you can talk about how it relates to school liaisons, what supports that you may have.
Okay. So first of all, I want you to know that the previous screen that described the work of the COC, I think, was a good one. We do collaborate. So I cover 18 counties, and in those 18 counties, that means I have 18 school liaisons.
Vivian, I think you muted yourself. And Vanessa, you're muted too.
There. Okay. Is that better?
Yep, you're back.
Okay.
Thanks, Bryn.
Okay. I'm not sure how that happened. Okay. So I'll just go back and say that we cover 18 counties. So for me, I have 18 school liaisons. And so sometimes I may not be able to keep absolutely perfect contact with that liaison available to them, but more importantly to them might be that member organization that's in their community. There may be a homeless shelter in their community, or there may be a member that has a warming shelter or something. So when they find a family in an emergency, it's important to connect them with their closest resource. And I think that is the work of the COC, is to make sure that everybody knows their resources. This year, I have asked our homeless liaisons, and I'm not sure how many of them did, but I've certainly been in contact with them and asked them if they have Category 1 families to help us with the PIT count. That's our point in time count. The one thing I will say is the McKinney-Vento definition of homeless and the definition of homeless for the COC work is very different.
Yes, it is.
Very different. And that's something I've drilled home to my own school liaisons, that the big number that shows up as homeless in the McKinney-Vento might actually be kids that have a wonderful home and great situation. Their parents may not be on that lease. And so we work the most here with those who actually are Category 1 homeless. And wherever there is an ESG grant, if there's money, we help those that are at risk of homelessness. So if they have an eviction notice, then we would encourage them. We have a hotline, and the number that you've stated is the number to my desk, but we do have a hotline for homeless people to call.
I can, are you at a computer right now, Vivian? You can drop that in the chat for everyone.
Sure.
And then I can add that to the slide deck before I send it out. And again, even if you don't have grant funding at the time, you do have resources throughout the community that you could help support these liaisons with. Am I correct?
Absolutely. And I've tried to make myself very available to them.
Okay. Bryn has asked if you could talk a little bit more about Category 1.
Okay, Category 1 is the HUD. HUD categorizes. There's category for those fleeing domestic violence. There's a category for those at risk of homelessness. There's just a lot of different categories of homelessness. Category 1 means that they are currently, right now, sleeping in a car, sleeping in a tent, possibly like an old camper on the backside of somebody's part of their property. That does not cover those that have a $50,000 recreational vehicle that are going park to park. So we're not talking about them. But for those that do not have a nighttime residence that is made for human habitation. So that might be an abandoned building. They're pretty creative. Rural homelessness looks very, very different than urban homelessness. So that's kind of what Category 1 is.
That's very helpful. Thank you. I appreciate that, Vivian. Does anyone have any questions? We also will have time at the end for questions, but does anyone have any immediate questions right now for Vivian? Again, please don't hesitate to reach out to her. Even like I said, if there's not funding available at this moment, Vivian's a good resource within the community and the region to be able to help support you. So the more people you have contact with, the more able you'll be able to find. So we have a question, Vivian, about what the acronym ESG means.
Okay, so Emergency Solutions Grant, and that is available through Tennessee Housing Development Agency, THDA, and that is a wonderful set of money that I would love to see every county have on some kind of level. But it can pay things for homeless prevention. For example, someone has an eviction notice because they couldn't pay their rent. They can call that person that has the ESG funding and they'll work with their landlord and help pay their rental arrears to prevent homelessness. They also help with utilities. They also have a rapid rehousing program, which is a very low barrier, one-time help for people who are street homeless. So some people don't qualify for a voucher program. They don't qualify because maybe they have criminal history, maybe they have, something like that. So this is where they find a place on their own. The ESG worker goes out, inspects it, checks it out, makes sure it meets their criteria, and then we'll pay the deposits, their utility and rental deposits, and maybe a first month's rent, and get them transitioned into housing. So that's a rapid rehousing. They also have emergency shelter funding. It's a great program. I encourage them to go onto THDA's website. And I apologize, I am not good at technology. I see a question, can I just go ahead and give them a link? I'm not good at that, but if you'll go on THDA's website and look at their homeless programs, I think you'll see ESG kind of all over it, because the funding starts in the application process starts March 1st. So they're going to want to find out about that and get their application in. And I am trying to put the number in.
Bryn dropped in the link for THDA. Thank you, Bryn. And maybe Bryn can get our the hotline number for Upper Cumberland. So
I'm doing that right now.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Vivian. So we will go ahead and go on. Vivian, thank you for sharing that. At the end, we'll have some time for more questions.
Okay.
And so now I'm going to turn it over to West Tennessee COC, Roseanne Downing and Brittany Long. Roseanne, do you want to kind of quickly tell us about West Tennessee COC, and then we'll go ahead and jump right into YHDP.
Sure. Thank you. We are moving because we had this big headlight behind our head, and we didn't want to blind you all. I'm Roseanne Downing. I'm with Jackson, West Tennessee Continuum of Care, and I have
Brittany Long, and I'm with the YAB from West Tennessee.
And our COC covers 23 counties. I think Vivian did an awesome job of explaining the different programs. In the chat box, or if there's something down there, I'm going to put our homeless hotline number. If you don't take anything else away from this meeting, if you have a homeless family or youth that needs help and they fit category 1, 2, or 4, like Vivian was talking about, you can have them contact the homeless hotline. And we have housing navigators that are out in the community to do the homeless outreach.
So Roseanne, let me ask you this real quick. If a family or a student is they're not sure if they're category 1, 2, or 4, can they still reach out to you and you can help them determine?
Not just that, but they'll be given resources, a resource directory.
Okay, great.
So that's
that number is just a great number for any kind of just outreach support that may be available to whoever is calling in.
Yes.
Okay.
And if we can pop into we'll talk about our PowerPoint presentation. The Youth Homeless Demonstration Program is an award we just received from HUD in the 23 counties in rural West Tennessee, outside of Memphis. And there's 3 counties right across the river, Stewart, Houston, and Humphreys County. We are very, very excited. And look, and Brittany's nodding her head because we worked really, really hard. The Youth Action Boards work really, really hard. She's going to explain what the Youth Action Board is and does. But this program is bringing in $2.2 million to West Tennessee, outside of Shelby County, to provide money for programs for homeless youth. And it's going to include a lot of the stuff that Vivian talked about, rental assistance, rapid rehousing, but it expands and has like crisis housing and transitional housing and stuff that a lot of times the COC does not have the opportunity to offer, especially just focused for youth that are up to age 24. HUD looks at youth and young adults as 24 and under. Okay.
Vivian, can you, I'm sorry, Roseanne, can you tell us quickly about this survey that you had me send out? I put it in the slide deck and then the email had it as well.
Yes. So what we were doing is right now we're in the midst of doing what they call a coordinated community plan that HUD has us do before we can actually get projects to apply for this funding. And it is a massive undertaking where we have all these community meetings, and we'll be stepping off here in a few minutes because our community meeting for Benton County is today at 11 o'clock. So we're at the library getting a jump start, and we really, really appreciate y'all letting us talk. This survey, or the questionnaire, really it's more of a questionnaire, is something that our technical assistance people from HUD gave us to ask our LEAs in the state. So what we're doing is gathering the need, the data and the need of what the perception is out there, what people are seeing as the need for our homeless youth. And so please, everybody in the state of Tennessee, send it our way, send it our way. I've actually already got about 5 or 6. I've checked this morning.
Good.
So
after this call, please take time to fill out that quick survey. I think it's a quick 4 questions. That'd be greatly appreciated. And we'll go ahead and move on to, hang on. I forgot I was going to share. Let me stop presenting that. And let me open up the slide deck for, there we go. Okay, and give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Let me share my screen.
I think the first person to talk is Brittany, so I'm moving it her way.
Okay, let me share my screen. All right, can you guys see that now?
Yes.
Okay, let me go ahead and advance it. Get everything, let me find all my buttons back here. There it is, okay. I'm sorry for the difficulty here. I don't know, I've lost my buttons to, let's see if I can, there we go. Okay, we're just gonna do it that way. My apologies, everyone. All right, Caitlin, we're gonna go ahead and let you.
Well, actually, this is Brittany. Caitlin put this as actually was part of the Youth Action Board, the
Oh,
YAB.
I'm sorry.
And that's okay. And she did the presentation. Brittany is the one that's going to be.
I'm just going to
Gotcha. I'm sorry, Brittany. Okay, so do you want me to go ahead and advance the slide?
Yes, and I'm not going to read it word from word on the slide. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the YAB and what we do, and yeah, basically who we are and what we do and what we stand for.
Okay.
Now, the YHDP has been a big part of us since we started because we applied for it last year and we were just a hair off from getting it. And so we went for it again this year and we got it, but it's a process. The YAB started in 2021 of May, and we covered 23 counties in West Tennessee. Next, sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
We are a group of young people who are trying to let our voices be heard and give guidance and support to youth homeless. And that's what we stand by, and that's what we go for. That's what I want people to know us about, because that's our main point, is trying to give guidance and support. Next. Our goals are to secure funding and to work with the homeless liaisons and educate homeless youth about available support, and to give them training and job skills and just work all around with them. Make sure they have good finances and just know how to do things you needed to be able to do living on your own. Our purpose is to reduce homelessness for youth and young adults, and to promote affordable housing for persons with special needs by coordinated resources. Some of the responsibilities I have for the YAB, because I am the YAB president, I like for them to attend all of our meetings, do active outreach and work with all the youth that we come in contact with. And if you can't come to the meeting, just let me know. And we have a lot of trainings that I like for us to attend, so we know what we're doing also. That's our logo and
your vision.
And our vision and some acronyms. I'm not gonna read all of them.
No.
And this is at some of the YAB members at some trainings, and then us putting together blessing bags. Once a year, we try to put together blessing bags and hand them out to just youth homeless or homeless in general. Some more of our pictures from us doing blessing bags and meetings.
And some more.
And more.
They're very active. Oh, look, there's Brittany. Good job. Good job. Thank you, Brittany.
Y'all.
Something that the Youth Action Board is made up of persons with lived experience that are 24 and under. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you all. And it's there's actually more YABs in Tennessee: Memphis, Nashville, Knoxville, Chattanooga, and then Jackson, West Tennessee. So I think they're going to be having a meeting.
We are very
in
soon.
The month of February. Yep. Of just the YABs to do like peer support, see what each one's doing, maybe reactivate some that are kind of been dormant, not doing a lot. So just to kind of give y'all a FYI that I think some of the youth action boards, you're going to see more advocacy coming from them. So, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Roseanne, if there's anyone who is interested in possibly beginning the process to bring YHDP to their area, could they reach out to you that you can kind of get them in the right direction? Yes.
We've been having some community meetings. This is number 4. We've got one in Fayette County next Tuesday. And then we'll be doing focus groups. I think I call y'all one of our focus groups because we're hoping to get lots of input from the LEAs in Tennessee. And the process is once we do this coordinated community plan draft and it goes to HUD and they approve it, we will have it on our website and I will send it to you, Vanessa, and you can send it out because it lays out the need, the mission, the vision, what projects could apply, and the milestones. So it's a big thing. It's a big hunker thing. It's about this big when it gets done. And then we'll be putting out an RFP, a request for proposals. If anybody is interested, we actually have an interest form, and I will send that to Vanessa. She can send it out because school districts are eligible to apply. If y'all think after school programs might be something you need, or outreach, or there's, and I guess a good thing to say is I will send out some information of what other school districts have done applying through YHDP. So y'all might have some ideas, and it may be something that one of your schools would like to apply for. This is a renewable grant. It's for 2 years and then renewable each year after that. So it's a lot, and it's a really cool thing, and it's very innovative. And one thing I wanted to add before we go is there are 4 categories for homeless definition under HUD, and McKinney-Vento for Department of Education uses also category 3, which is doubled up, overcrowded, et cetera, and so on. We have asked for an exception from HUD to be able to serve that population, and it may possibly get approved. So any projects that might want to serve that population, we can put it in the project and send it to HUD and get an exception so we can serve any homeless youth. So I think that's really cool.
Yes, this is super exciting, and I hopefully will have, after this call, we'll have a lot of information, or a lot of people asking for more information, because I really want to grow this in the state. I think it's really great, especially with the data that I'm getting from NCHE. We really want to look at looking at our data and finding unaccompanied homeless youth and helping serve those individuals. So I appreciate you guys joining us today. Anything you send me, I will drop in an email to all the homeless liaisons, and then they can go from there.
Oh,
So I appreciate it.
I have one question to you all, and then I'll drop some stuff in the chat box, my email address and phone number, so anybody can ask questions, or the homeless hotline, excuse me, and the homeless hotline number. We need to gather information from each county or each school district for the homeless count. Is that something we should just get from contact each liaison, or from you, Vanessa?
I can get that information to you. Yeah, okay. I can get that to you. Does anybody have any questions for Brittany or Roseanne? Before, I know they have to have another meeting, so anyone, you can unmute your line, or you can drop any questions you have in the chat box.
This is Vivian Walker, and I just want to ask Roseanne a question. Sure. Roseanne, did the contact information look correct to you on the Tennessee Valley COC? That she had a screen. I didn't recognize that name, and I'm just wondering if that's.
It didn't ring a bell, and also you said you served more counties than what she had on there. So maybe we need to give you an update, Vanessa, of the COC, how it does move and change every once in a while.
Yeah, that would be great. I will put that the updated information inside that. Thank you.
Information to you. Yes, I'll work on that too.
Any other questions?
Yes, Vanessa, this is Karen Ball from. I want to ask a question about the age range that is served by the YHDP. Of course, we received the grant, and we're working with Community Alliance for the Homeless to implement those functions. Can you restate the information about the age range that's served with these funds?
We serve 24 and under.
Okay, so it's not just limited to young adults who are 19 to 24.
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
But you know there's a slippery slope in Tennessee when we're serving people under 18 and DCS.
Yes.
And
that's where we have trouble at the most, with people under the age of 18. Now, I have people under the age of 18, but sometimes it's kind of hard because they don't want to be or get put into the system if they're not already in it.
Okay. Well, we have a lot of unaccompanied youth here in Memphis that are not served by DCS, and just want to know what other supports through YHDP can be provided for that group of students. You know, perhaps they're living with a neighbor or a friend, you know, what supports are available for that particular group. But I can email you. If you put your information in the chat box, I'll email you.
Sure, that would be great. Thank you all so much.
And do we have any other questions for Roseanne or Brittany before we move on? Okay, well, again, thank you, ladies, for joining us. I know you probably have to jump off, but I look forward to working with you and getting more information. So have a great day. All right, let's get us back to our next presenter. I'm going to turn it over to Morgan Campy.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for letting me have a bit of time, Vanessa, to chat about 21st Century and LEAPS. So 21st Century and LEAPS is a part of the department's work in extended learning programs, and 21st Century Community Learning Centers is a federal grant that is Title IV Part B, and LEAPS is Lottery for Education After School Programs. It's a state grant that actually is funded through unclaimed lottery tickets, but both grants are available for application this March. And they are specifically to fund out of school time programs. So before school, after school, and summer work. As you can see here on the slide, these are the activities that it funds. And so any LEAs, community-based organizations, et cetera, are eligible to apply for funding. Eligibility is based off of Title I school-wide programs, and these grants are meant to serve a high concentration of low-income students. And of course, free and reduced lunch data from 2022 can also be used to determine eligibility. But we are always looking to expand and hopefully fund more programs. We know that a lot of LEAs have been utilizing relief funding dollars and partnering with the state to deliver tutoring and summer programming. And we all know that those dollars are going to be ending soon. And 21st Century is a 5-year grant. LEAPS is a 3-year grant. They both have benefits and pros and cons. Of course, one being federal and one being state. And we're just excited for the opportunity to hopefully partner with new LEAs and of course those that their grants are currently ending. But they're incredible programs. This past year, we served 53,000 students across the state. We had about 114 sub-grantees. So those LEAs or CBOs that applied for the grant, serving over 432 sites across the state. So we see a lot of academic and enrichment programs. So we have grantees that choose to do a balance of academics and enrichment that can include different clubs or different offerings like chess club or robotics, cooking. They also have contracted partners that come in and do things. One of the things that we're really excited that's going to be kicking off this upcoming year is a partnership with Coordinated School Health that have grantees committing to the after-school pledge of healthy after-school programs. So health and an active lifestyle, as you can see, is one of the activities that we support. But yeah, partnering with the school day, partnering with community agencies to deliver these types of programs, really ensuring that students have access to out-of-school time programs, that if they wouldn't have an opportunity to go home to a safe environment or even to a learning environment, this is what these programs provide. So if anybody has any questions or if you want to learn more, I'm happy to drop my email in the chat. We can connect further. I don't know if anybody...
we do have a question in the chat. Can funds be used to provide transportation for homeless students to participate in this program?
Yes.
Or these programs?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, so funding can be used. It's allowable to provide transportation. And of course, if you are interested, there are some regional technical assistance workshops that are coming up at the end of February. And if you are interested, information will be coming across the Federal Programs and Oversight newsletter, but also you feel free to email me and I can add you to the contact list. So that way, if you know, things get buried in email and you don't happen to see the newsletter, then you'll see an email come directly from me or from extended.learning@tn.gov.
We have some time. Does anyone else have any questions for Morgan on the LEAPS or 21st Century? Morgan, I know I had you in a short time. Is there anything else you would like to share with us while we have you on this call?
Yeah, I was going to say I saw some familiar names pop up as I was admitting people. So I know that there's some of y'all who are program providers in 21st or LEAPS. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but if anybody just wants to come off mute to just share a little bit about your program or the successes or things that you've loved about running a 21st Century LEAPS program, you know, voices from the field are always the best because I just get little snippets. Again, I don't want to put anybody on the spot.
Morgan, would you share if the you know, without maybe saying the LEA name in case they don't feel comfortable, will you share a story with us?
Yeah. So recently, this is one of my favorite stories. Recently, so this past year when I started in this role, I was meeting one-on-one with new program providers, or to me, everyone was new, but to learn more about the grantees and the work that they were doing. And there was so when you receive the grant, there's someone that's deemed the project director. And so obviously that's just the person who's going to be managing the grant and ensuring compliance measures are in place and met, et cetera. And this LEA's project director met with me and she said, I have this really great idea. I'd love to do some type of cooking club. Is that allowed? What are the measures as far as like allowability of buying food, et cetera? And so we kind of talked through that and I was like, I think that sounds great. Let me know if you need any assistance or help. Well, she came to regional check-ins in the fall. So I met with her probably in July and she came to regional check-ins in the fall. I think that was in October or November. And her cooking club has like completely exploded. They've connected with the food bank that's on site. And she noticed that a lot of the parents that were in line at the food bank were also parents of the kids in their program. And she noticed that a lot of the food that they were getting, they were either throwing away, they didn't know what to use. And so she decided to start this cooking club utilizing the food that was in the food boxes that they were getting from the food bank. So she was teaching them, they had cucumbers, for example, like tons. So she taught them how to pickle cucumbers. Well, now these families have not only learned how to pickle cucumbers to make pickles, but they've also learned now canning, which is a really incredible skill. One of the days they received eggplant. And if you're not a huge fan of eggplant or don't know how to prepare it, it's going to go in the trash, right? And so she not only taught them how to bake it, but then taught them how to make like eggplant Parmesan, and all of the families loved it. And they said, if it weren't for this cooking club or being taught how to use this, it would have been thrown away. But now here's something else that because the families do it together. So the students in the program and then the guardian, parent, whomever is in care of the child. So yeah, that's just been one of my like favorite things that I've learned, that I've seen grow this year. That new project director, she had this really great idea. She not only utilized her resources through the grant, but she partnered with the school day, the food bank that was on site at their LEA, and just kind of thought out of the box and then included guardians in the process. So it truly was something that embodies 21st Century in Leaps, is that yes, we are serving students, but we want to see the ripple effect and how it's going to impact all the stakeholders, which includes families and then the school-wide staff as well. So that's just one of my favorites so far from this year.
We have a question in the chat box, Morgan.
Yeah, so someone's saying she's in a room full of people, so she's going to type, but this program has served many students in her last job. It's wonderful for children and parents. It helps working families, children needing extra with academics, or going home alone with no help at home for schoolwork. Our community partners have really helped our program succeed. You can do so much with this program for students and families. Thanks, Angie. Yeah, it really is amazing to just see how these dollars go towards a space that sometimes can be overlooked, right? It's after school, before school, out of school time. And when utilizing dollars appropriately, it really does shift and change things. And Brent just put in the chat that we've heard over and over that these programs can change the whole culture of a school. And that's true. We've also heard, and I've seen in some cases where people have taken these dollars to the nth degree of like it being an only academic program. And while we love a good, academic session after school, we do want this to be a balance where kids are showing up after school. Well, they're showing up to the regular school day because they want to stay after school. That's another part of this, is that one of our data points is that we want to see regular school day attendance increase. So when we have the right people in place who understand the heart of these dollars, which is to provide exceptional opportunities for students before school, after school, and out of and summer, then these programs really can do incredible things, such as shift culture of schools, give teachers an opportunity after school to really shine. Educators are sometimes limited during the regular school day of things they have to do or ways they have to teach, understandably so. And these opportunities give educators a chance to try out lessons or try out activities they wouldn't have to during the regular school day. incorporate PBL, project-based learning, into the out-of-school time, so that students can learn a different way, so that you can teach students in a way that they may receive that knowledge or education in a different way than they would during regular school hours. So I could go on and on.
And USED, the National Center for Homeless Education, really highly encourages homeless liaisons to really be partnering with 21st Century and LEAPS, because it is really great to supporting your homeless programming. So please, reach out to Morgan, or if you have any questions right now, please, we have time. Don't hesitate to drop something in the chat box or unmute your line. You may have a question that someone else has the same question. And so we're here to answer if you've got any stories or experiences you want to share. So Angie has said that she feels like their partnership and communication is better after COVID with our families. That the experience actually has helped us more than we could have ever imagined about building relationships with families with their LEAPS program. Anybody have any questions or anything they would like to share with the group? Morgan, is there anything else you would like to share with us?
No, thanks, Vanessa. And thanks all of y'all for the work that you do for the students and families throughout Tennessee. It's really incredible work.
Yes, I will get some more information on the Middle Tennessee COC. Is that what you're talking about, Michelle? I will definitely get that information on the slide deck, and yes. So everything that was dropped in the chat box, phone numbers, all that stuff, I will pull out and I will send in the email at the conclusion, probably the beginning of next week. I'll send the slide deck, the recording, and all the information here as well. And then, of course, the resources I've dropped in our resource slide here. Again, your typical non-regulatory guidance, e-plan resources for McKinney-Vento programming. Also, I have the e-plan breadcrumbs to 21st Century LEAPS. So please check out e-plan. Again, no sign-in is required to check out that information. I've had the HUD link as well, so you can look more into COCs. And then I also included a brief on YHDP from the National Center for Homeless Education. It's very helpful, very informative. I recommend that you take a look at that. And then, of course, here's all the resources from the COCs that joined us today as well. Again, thank you. Please don't hesitate to reach out to myself if you have any 21st Century or LEAPS questions for Morgan or any of our guests today. I will have all that information, like I said, in the email. If you will take a few minutes to complete the little survey and let us know how we're doing, and let me know if you enjoy this webinar today. That way I can know if I should keep inviting community-based organizations to join us. Feedback is greatly appreciated. And again, if you have any questions, go ahead. It's not too late. Drop them in the chat box or unmute your line.
Vanessa, I had a question regarding whether or not a student should be classified as an unaccompanied youth and homeless. And I didn't know if you wanted me to share that with you now or maybe later.
Sure. No, sure. If you feel comfortable, sure. We'll go ahead. We have time, so go ahead.
Okay, we have a student who is 18, and it is their choice to leave the home that they're living in. They currently live with their father, and it's not a good situation. The father is not in agreement with some of their choices, so the student has made the choice to leave. I'm not exactly sure where they will be living at. There has been discussion that they may go live with a sibling. So I just wasn't sure, does it matter that they are making that choice to leave?
That's a super great question. And yes, that does not matter. So under the federal law, when it comes to unaccompanied homeless youth, sometimes they may not share the reasons why they are leaving. And it may be two reasons that they don't feel comfortable sharing. It may be, you know, sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse. And so they don't have to share the reasons why they're leaving. So under the McKinney-Vento Act, they would be considered unaccompanied homeless youth, and they could begin getting services and the resources to help support that student. So that's a great question. That comes up a lot. So I appreciate you sharing and asking that question.
Okay, and just for clarification, it doesn't matter that they're 18 as well, right?
Correct. It does not matter. Under McKinney-Vento, it's 21 and under for while they're in school, and then of course 24 if they're in college. But yeah, it doesn't matter the age.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Any other questions?
Hey, Vanessa, it's Laura Greer from Hamilton County. I had a question that a social worker asked me yesterday, and I just wanted to clarify if I told her correctly.
Sure.
So if I know if it's a placement made for the unaccompanied youth, you know, if it's an arranged placement, then they're not technically considered unaccompanied. If DCS has made a placement with a relative, are they considered unaccompanied?
If they are in the services or custody of DCS, like if DCS just place them there and they're no longer in custody and it's no longer a DCS situation, they would be unaccompanied. But if they are still in state custody and state still is providing support and resources, then they would not be McKinney-Vento.
Okay, so yeah, because the child's wanting to stay at his school of origin, and I'm like, well, if they've been placed there and the custody's already been given, then they aren't considered unaccompanied. And we can't do the transportation, but they have not given the grandmother custody yet. They're working on it.
Yeah, so that would probably be a DCS foster care situation, even though it's not necessarily foster care. And they have a whole set of guidance for school of origin and that as well. But yeah, because they are in DCS custody at the time, they would not be considered McKinney-Vento eligible. Okay,
I'll let them know. Thank you.
Another great question, because I do have a lot of questions around foster care, DCS, and state care. Any other questions before I'm going to give you back some time, but if there's any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Well, again, thank you all for joining me today. I hope this has been a very helpful webinar. And please, again, don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions, and I will be sending out the information next week. Again, thank you for joining and have a great day.